we will be discussing the latest update on Canada's immigration policies, specifically regarding work permits for visitors. We are excited to bring you this news that will impact many individuals aspiring to come to Canada. Before we dive into the details, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell to stay informed about essential immigration news and updates. Now, let's explore the promising changes in Canada's immigration policies. While work and study permits are issued for specific activities in Canada, a visitor visa has a broader scope. However, there are still restrictions on what you can do as a visitor in Canada. Canadian work regulations apply to all individuals who are not Canadian citizens or permanent residents. If you are visiting Canada with a visitor visa, there are important considerations to keep in mind before seeking employment in the Canadian labor market. In this blog, we will provide a clear breakdown of what is permissible and what is not while under a visitor visa. Under a visitor visa, you cannot stay permanently in Canada. A visitor visa only grants you temporary legal status in the country for as long as your visa is valid. It does not allow you to work or study in Canada, except under specific conditions. To work in Canada, you need a valid work permit, and to study, you need a study permit. You cannot apply for a study permit from within Canada based on your visitor status, except in certain cases where you have a family member with a valid study or work permit. However, under a visitor visa, you can enter and stay in Canada temporarily. This allows you to explore different cities, job prospects, and cultural experiences, giving you a first-hand experience of what life in Canada could be like if you plan to immigrate in the future. While visitor visas are not meant for job searching, you are not prohibited from searching for work while in Canada. Just make sure to be honest with immigration officers about your reason for visiting Canada, and prove your intention to return to your country when your visitor visa expires. In some rare cases, you can join a short-term course in Canada without a study permit if certain conditions are met. If you would like to extend your stay in Canada beyond the initial validity period of your visa, you can apply for an extension. But the decision is at the discretion of the immigration officer. While you generally need a work permit to work in Canada, you can still carry out some business activities as a visitor, as long as you do not directly enter the Canadian labor market. There is also a temporary policy change that allows visitors who receive a valid job offer in Canada to apply for a work permit while in the country on a visitor visa. Prior to this change, applicants would typically need to apply for their work permit before coming to Canada or leave the country to be issued their work permit. With this policy, leaving Canada is no longer necessary.